Hello, friends. Welcome to the November reading for Gemini. This will be the basic reading, and then if you would like the extended part, that will be available over on Patreon. The link is down in the bio. Hope you all had a great Halloween. Did you dress up? If you did, let me know in the comments. What were you? Okay, we got 4. So we'll take those. Let me set up. I'll be right back. So, as I was getting everything put together here, it was kind of interesting. I don't know. It doesn't usually come out like this, but it was telling me, like, this is how you are right now, and this is kind of like, I don't know if it's necessarily the changes you need to make or just where you're kind of pivoting towards. So hopefully this makes more sense to you, but it told me to say that. So, first card out, I can't remember if I said it or not, but 8 of Swords. That's the energy of where you're at right now. It's self-imposed, like, whether it's isolation or pain or something going on that you don't like, you don't enjoy it, but you are keeping yourself there. I don't know if it's because you feel some kind of obligation to be doing whatever you're doing, but again, it's not something that you want to be doing. It's definitely an obligation feeling. But I mean, if you look at this card, I'm always drawn to how, you know, she's loosely tied, she's got a blindfold on, but she could easily get herself out. And the swords aren't actually piercing her. There's nothing externally that's hurting her. And in this case, I think it's maybe your own perceptions of other people's judgment that might be factoring in as well. So just something to keep in mind. But that might be the wake-up call to say, like, you got to look at what you're doing here, because you're not enjoying it anyways, but you're the one doing it. So, wake up. Then these 3 fell out together. We have Judgment, Ace of Cups in reverse, and the 4 of Swords. So, I mean, it's kind of telling me this story. Like, you are in a place where you might be... It's not diving into something new. It does feel like kind of a fresh start where, you know, maybe in this situation you're kind of making peace with your past. That's what I'm hearing. That's not generally where the Judgment card goes for me, but that's what I'm getting. Like the story's kind of coming to a head, coming to a conclusion. And in that, I mean, every ending, there's a new beginning, right? So we're definitely looking at that transition period. Ace of Cups, there's something holding you back from your emotions. Like you are resistant to expressing the emotions, to feeling the emotions. We all know that's not a good idea, right? So maybe that's just something that needed to be brought to your attention. Sometimes we kind of just do that on autopilot, especially when we are just trying to get through things, just trying to survive. And that, I do get that feeling from this card. Just kind of going through the motions, doing what you have to do, or what you feel like you have to do. And in that space, you may be neglecting your emotions. You may be, I just heard hurting yourself. I don't mean that in a literal sense of physically harming yourself. And if you are, please go find help for that. There's a lot of help out there for that. But it's more that self-imprisonment, keeping yourself stuck in something that you don't want to be doing. coming back to this altogether, the Four of Swords, specifically, it's pointing me towards, like, that need to rest. So it definitely feels like you've been going through a lot between all of this, whether self-imposed or not. Being in this kind of discomfort or pain or upset and not allowing yourself to be emotive with it, that often drives us to a point of needing to rest. If we don't rest, that's when we face burnout and breakdowns and way more uncomfortable things, right? So that's what I meant as far as this is what you're moving towards, or maybe like the universe or whatever your beliefs are. I just say the universe. We know this already, right? It's what you're needing to move towards. There is a touch of leaving something of the past behind, of making that peace with it. And part of that will be feeling through it, going through the emotions that are tied to it, going through the emotions that are tied to this situation, whatever's going on there, because I have a feeling that's a completely separate thing. Like, there's a lot of things that you've been dealing with, thinking about, going through, and you need to feel each of them in their own right, but you've been avoiding them. So you will have this opportunity to rest, and you need to actively take it. Sometimes we like to push that kind of thing off, but when we do, again, that's when we face things like breakdown and things like that. But I also heard illness. I just went through this recently where I was so resistant to taking rest, and I felt like I had all these things to do and I needed to get them done, and made all these goals for myself, and then massive migraine hit, and it just took me down for days. There were other things that compounded it, right? But and I learned some things through that also, but it was a forced rest. And it afforded me that time, even though I wasn't feeling well, and maybe it took a little bit longer than had I just took the time to actually rest. I was able to see things that I wasn't seeing before when I was just go. So whoever needs to hear that, there it is. Let's go ahead and pull an oracle card real quick. And I am curious to see where this goes in the extended, especially with these swords. Maybe we can get some insight into where you're keeping yourself tied. Oh, joy is the ultimate creator. Yes. When we're able to be in a place that's joyful, we are able to create more freely and openly, and our minds and hearts are just, they're able to be open. Open is the word that I keep hearing. So we'll go with that. But it's really hard to find joy here, right? Even if it's painful or whatever, when we do allow ourselves to have emotions, and to have that rest, ultimately we can still find pieces of joy throughout it, in a way that's kind of woven. That's why I did that. And in that joy, that's where you're going to find creation, whether for you that be allowing your creativity out in certain ways, like painting and drawing and things like that, cooking even, or taking walks in nature, or creating your future and thinking about where you want to go and how you can make that happen. Whatever that might mean to you, maybe pause the video for a minute and just meditate on it. I hesitate saying meditate because some people, that word really scares them off. No need to be scared of that word. Sit and allow yourself to just receive what that means to you. It's kind of cool what we can find in stillness sometimes. Anyways, that is it for the basic reading for you, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you over on the extended. If not, that's totally cool too. Some people, that's just not their thing. Regardless, I hope to read for you again soon. I love you lots. Bye.